Rent or buy? That is the big question. Hey folks, welcome. We're going to look at the pros and cons of renting versus buying. So let's start with buying a home or condo. Number one, you can't get evicted. Number two, you get to participate in the long-term appreciation that is sure to help with retirement. Number three, if you do buy a home, you have the option of renting out the basement or one of the rooms to help with the mortgage payment. What are the cons? Well, let's look at a house, for example. My home, I pay over $7,000 per year in property taxes. I pay a little over $1,000 a year in property insurance. What else? Oh, I just replaced my garage doors as they were getting old and needed replacement, $4,200. What else? Let's see. Got to cut the grass, shovel the driveway, and the list goes on and on. Now, of course, if you buy and live in a condo, you don't have to worry about the maintenance aspect of things. You still have to pay property taxes. You still have to pay insurance. And if something breaks down, of course, like any of your appliances, then you still have to get a new one or get those fixed. So now let's say you rent out a place instead of buying it. So as a renter, you have more flexibility. For example, let's say you live in an area in Toronto, you're renting out a condo, and after a while you decide, well, I don't like this area very much, or you know what, I want to go move to, Kitchener, Ontario, or I got a job in Vaughan. And so you could easily just pack up and go. Of course, you do have to respect any contract that you have with your landlord, whether that be 1 year, but normally after 1 year, it goes to month to month anyway. You don't have to worry about maintenance. So whether you rent out a basement apartment in a house or a room in a home or a condo unit, well, if the roof goes or needs replacement or the garage door needs to be replaced, that's not your responsibility. It's the landlord's responsibility or owner. If, the dishwasher you're using breaks down, again, that's the landlord. Insurance-wise, it's going to be much cheaper, generally around $200 to $300 to cover your contents, to cover your personal belongings like your, bicycle, jewelry, any furniture, TV that you have, that you own. If you do rent, especially in something like a condo in Toronto, you get to be downtown near all the entertainment, restaurants. The condo itself may have many amenities such as a pool, tennis court, maybe even some have a small bowling alley. So what's the negative of being a renter? Well, the landlord could decide to jack up your rent when the renewal of your lease agreement comes up, especially in newer buildings where there's no rent control. The landlord may ask you to leave because he's selling the unit or wants to move in there himself or herself. And then that's an inconvenience for you because now you have to go look at other places. You're not paying any mortgage, therefore you're not putting any money down towards the principal and building up that equity. And you're not participating in that long-term appreciation that real estate has been experiencing over the years. Okay, folks, here we compare, as an example, buying a condo downtown Toronto, let's say for $500,000 versus renting that same condo for $1,850 per month. The rental is pretty straightforward. You pay $1,850 times 12 months times 10 years, and altogether that's $222,000 paid out of pocket, with at the end of those 10 years, nothing to really show for it. Now, again, depending on your lifestyle, depending on what you do with the rest of the money that you make, that's not necessarily a bad thing. But just for comparison, let's take a look if instead of renting, you bought that same condo and lived in it for 10 years. So the one-time fees are about $16,000 for land transfer and legal. The interest paid on the mortgage is about $120,000. Plus, if you take a look at the property tax, condo fees, and the insurance, all those add up to about $90,000. So all in all, you've paid about $225,000. Now, I haven't included the principal as an out-of-pocket expense here because that doesn't just fly out the window. That principal actually builds equity into the condo. And when you sell it down the road, that equity is yours. So after 10 years, you will have paid $120,000 worth of interest, but also approximately $120,000 worth of principal as well. And that's why your $400,000 mortgage, because you put 20% down on the $500,000 condo, has now turned into $280,000. Also assuming the 5% long-term appreciation growth of that $500,000 condo after 10 years, that $500,000 has now become $815,000. So quite simply, if you take away the $280,000 mortgage that you have left to pay, you've got $535,000 of equity in that condo. So after 10 years, if you were to sell it and pay the real estate commissions and the legal fees, you'd end up with about $500,000. I think that's pretty fantastic. What about you?